Welcome back. In the last episode, we made a very simple car. As we can see here, it turns on, it goes forward, it steers, it shifts gears. It even stops. But one of the problems that we have with this vehicle is that we have no idea what gear we're in, how fast the engine is spinning, how fast we're going. We just don't know anything about it. So today, we're going to look at displays and how to implement them in your vehicle quite simply. So here we have our car. Now, we're just going to go ahead and head down to the Add tool here, go to Parts, Logic, and we can see we have a number display. We're going to grab one of these, and don't mind the error messages, that's just part of the beta that I'm playing in. Make sure we're placing on surface, and make sure we're not in symmetry for this. The number displays behave kind of weird if they're in symmetry. Now what I'm going to do is place them on the steering wheel, using the Move tool by pressing 3 on the keyboard. I'm just going to push these over a little bit so they're not in the way. And then pressing 4, we get to the Rotate tool. Or you can click it down here, your choice. I'm going to grab this red handle and rotate it up a couple of notches. Excellent. Next, I'm going to go back to the Move tool by pressing 3 on the keyboard, pressing Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, and then dragging this one to the other side. Finally, I'm going to shift-click the other display, again press Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, and this time drag it upwards until it's relatively lined up, well, with the other displays. Now, because we can't actually line them up like this, I'm going to hold Shift and then slide them down until they're lined up just like that. Excellent. Now we have 4 displays. We can put some information on them. Pressing F2 will bring us into the tuner, and as you can see on top of the bucket seat, we now have 4 number displays. We're just going to move them up out of the way. Excellent. Now, just like the wheels, I'm going to go ahead and arrange them logically, so that I know which one I'm working with at any given point in time. There we go. You can see as I click each box, it highlights the corresponding number display. Perfect. So what exactly are we going to put on these number displays? Well, for one, I want to know how much fuel we have left. That's fairly simple to do. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Add Object. We're going to add an equation box and just put that next to the top left number display. Now the equation box, it can get pretty complicated, and this will be explored in another video, but for now we're just going to do something very simple. We're going to go up into the function section, click that, and then we're going to type in a few things. We're going to go fuel remaining equals left parentheses current fuel divided by, and for this part we're going to go replenish parts, look at our fuel capacity, which is 20.08 liters. So that's current fuel divided by 20.08, close parentheses, times 100. Now what this does is it gives us a value between 0 and 1. It's going to divide the current remaining fuel by the actual capacity, and then multiplying by 100 turns it into a percentage. Like I said, we'll explore this further in another video, but for now, this will work. And as you can see, we have 99.98% fuel remaining. So we can take that output, put it on the number display, and now you can see the top left turned into a 100. We're just going to go ahead and click the number display, go to additional text, add a space, percent fuel. And all that's going to do is add the word percent fuel next to the number. Now if we click away, that's still 100, but it will update as we're testing the vehicle. Excellent. So what next? Well, I'd like to know what gear we're in. So for that, we're simply going to go down to the small transmission, click on current gear, and bring that up to the number display. And then in additional text, space dash gear. And that'll tell us what gear we're in. This is very useful for if you're going forwards and reverse, or just knowing if you have another gear to go. In the top right, I'd like to know what RPM my engine is at. To do that, we're going to go down to the engine, grab the RPM output, and place it on the number display's input. and in additional text, space dash RPM. Last but not least, we'd like to know how fast we're going. Now, there's a couple of ways to do this. One, you could grab a speed box, put it on the vehicle, and get your speed that way. The other way is to do a little bit of math off of the transmission and figure out your vehicle speed based on your wheel speed. But that's quite complicated, and again, we'll explore that when we get into equation boxes more in depth. For now, I'm going to go ahead, add a speed box, and get the speed that way. Pressing escape to leave the tuner, I'm just going to move to the back of the vehicle, add tool, and we're already in the logic section. We'll just grab the speedometer and place that on our vehicle. It is worth noting that if we press 3 on the keyboard to get into move tool and highlight the speedometer, it will be measuring its speed on the Z axis, that is the blue axis. If the speed's coming up as a weird negative number or not showing up unless you're going sideways, you just have it rotated incorrectly, adjust it till it's correct. Back in the tuner, we now have the speedometer. We can go ahead and just place that below the bucket seat, grab our forward speed, and connect that to the number display. And in additional text, we can go dash kilometers per hour, because from where I am, that's how we measure our speed. It is worth noting that if you were to highlight the speedometer under the properties, you can change this to measure in miles per hour, meters per second, knots, or kilometers per hour. Excellent. We can leave the tuner. And now we can test the vehicle by pressing F3 on the keyboard. Taking view of seat 1 in the bottom left, we can't really see a whole lot, so we'll leave that there. But as you can see, we have 100% fuel on the top left. Our gear is being shown. The other two values aren't showing up, but as we start the engine, it'll show up. And if we drive forward, you can see it shows the speed. Now it is showing negative, meaning that our speedometer is backwards. That's an easy fix. We leave the testing environment. We press 4 on the keyboard, highlight the speedometer, and then just go ahead and turn it around, doing our best to make sure it's lined up straight with the front of the vehicle. From there, I'd recommend saving. And then we can test the vehicle again. Now, if we lock our camera, start the engine, and begin to move forward, you can see that it is showing a speed value. Excellent, we know it's working. Now, just to be absolutely certain, I'm going to press escape, exit the builder, and then we're going to spawn the vehicle in. Now, if you scroll, you've got 3 different tools. You've got a binocular, teleporter, and spawner. With the spawner highlighted, we hold the right mouse button, and then it brings up the menu with all the vehicles you've got. It'll be in the top left as the most recent one you've saved. Double click it, click once in the game, brings up your spawn tool. You can scroll in and out to make it further and back. Click left to bring the vehicle in, click left again to drop the vehicle, and from there you can jump in. Now that we can look around, we can see our displays better. We'll go ahead and start the vehicle and drive around a bit. And as you can see, all of our displays are working. As I shift up, you can see the RPM change and the speed change. And it's looking like our top speed is 349 kilometers per hour. And there you have it. That is how you place 4 different useful displays on your vehicle to tell you a bit more about what's going on and what your vehicle's current state is. Stay tuned for the next episodes. Thanks for watching.